The signal from the void. The transmission arrived at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station Epsilon during the quietest hour of the night shift. It wasn't like the usual cosmic background noise or even the occasional burst of radiation from a distant pulsar. This was different, structured, deliberate, and unmistakably artificial. Lieutenant Maya Chen had been half asleep at her monitoring station when the signal first registered on her console. The waveform pulsed with an eerie rhythm that seemed to bypass the station's translation algorithms entirely. She blinked, suddenly wide awake, and began running diagnostics. "System check complete," the station's AI announced. "Unknown transmission detected. Origin: Sector 9 Kappa 7. Distance: approximately 13.4 light-years from current position." Maya frowned. That sector was supposed to be empty, a void between star systems where nothing of interest had ever been recorded. "Analyze signal pattern," she ordered. "Analysis inconclusive. Pattern contains elements consistent with distress protocols but encrypted using an unknown method. Signal appears to be degrading." Maya's fingers flew across her console, isolating the transmission and boosting its clarity. "Wake Captain Reeves," she said. "Tell her we've got something unusual." Captain Ilara Reeves was not a woman who appreciated being woken 4 hours before her shift, but the moment she heard the signal, her irritation vanished. She stood behind Maya, arms crossed, listening to the pulsing, whispering sound that seemed to crawl directly into the brain rather than through the ears. "It's dying," Ilara said quietly. "Whatever sent this, it's fading." "Should we forward it to Earth Command?" Maya asked. Ilara considered this for a moment, then shook her head. "By the time they analyze it and decide what to do, the source could be gone. This is exactly why Epsilon was commissioned, to make first contact decisions when time is critical." Within an hour, Ilara had assembled her senior staff in the station's situation room. The signal played softly in the background as she outlined what they knew, which wasn't much. "We've cross-referenced the transmission against every known communication pattern in our database," said Commander Darius Jackson, the station's first officer and xenolinguistics specialist. "Nothing matches, but there are fragments that resemble the oldest recorded signals from the Arcturian network." "The Arcturians," Dr. Victor Nazari, the station's xenobiologist, looked troubled. "They haven't made contact with humanity in over 15 years. Not since we rejected their offer of technological exchange." "That's what makes this interesting," Ilara said, pulling up a star chart. "The signal isn't coming from Arcturian space. It's coming from the empty corridor, a region all known spacefaring species deliberately avoid." The room fell silent. Everyone knew about the empty corridor, a vast stretch of seemingly barren space that, despite containing potentially habitable solar systems, had never been colonized by any known civilization. "There's something else," Maya added, pulling up her analysis. "I've been running pattern recognition algorithms on the signal. It's not just a message. It's changing, adapting, almost as if it's trying to find a language we can understand." "That would require awareness," Victor said. "An eye, or a living entity, actively modifying its output based on feedback." "But we haven't sent any feedback," Darius pointed out. "Maybe it's responding to our scanning methods," Maya suggested. "Every time we analyze it differently, the pattern shifts slightly." Ilara studied the data, then made her decision. "Prep the Hermes. I want a response team ready in 6 hours." The Hermes was Epsilon Station's rapid response vessel, small, agile, and equipped with the most advanced sensors and communication technology Earth had developed. It was designed for first contact scenarios exactly like this one. As the team prepared for departure, a transmission arrived from Central Earth Command. Admiral Wei's face appeared on the main screen, his expression grave. "Captain Reeves, we've been informed of the signal you've detected. The Galactic Council has just issued an advisory warning against investigating its source." Ilara raised an eyebrow. "On what grounds, Admiral?" "They claim the empty corridor is restricted space under Treaty Section 47B, But here's what's strange. When pressed for details, none of the council representatives would explain why that region is off-limits. They simply insisted that all civilizations have agreed to avoid it. All civilizations except whoever sent that distress call, Ilara noted. Admiral Wee nodded. Exactly. Which is why Earth Command is officially ordering you to stand down while we consult with the Council. Ilara caught the slight pause. And unofficially, sir. Wei's expression softened almost imperceptibly. The Hermes is experiencing communication difficulties due to solar interference. By the time those issues are resolved, you'll have completed your preliminary investigation and can provide a full report to both Earth Command and the Council. Is that clear, Captain? Ilara smiled thinly. Crystal clear, Admiral. We'll be in touch once our communications are restored. 6 hours later, the Hermes detached from Epsilon Station and accelerated toward the source of the mysterious signal. The small crew consisted of Ilara, Darius, Maya, Victor, and Chief Engineer Sanjay Kapoor, all specialists chosen for their expertise and adaptability. As they approached the empty corridor, Maya noticed something strange about the signal. Captain, the transmission is getting stronger, but it's also changing frequency. It's like it knows we're coming. Or it's trying to guide us, Darius suggested, studying his console. For 3 days, they followed the signal deeper into the empty corridor. The stars seemed different here, dimmer somehow, as if seen through a veil. Sensor readings became erratic, showing phantom energy signatures that appeared and vanished without explanation. On the 4th day, they found it. A massive structure floating in empty space. It resembled a sphere made of interlocking metallic rings, each rotating at different speeds around a glowing blue core. The entire structure was approximately 5 kilometers in diameter. That's not a ship, Sanjay whispered, awe evident in his voice. It's a station, or a monument. Life signs? Ilara asked. Victor checked his readings. Inconclusive. There's energy flowing through the structure, but it's unlike any power signature I've seen before. If there is life aboard, it's not registering on our scanners. The signal is definitely coming from inside, Maya confirmed. And it's changed again. Listen. The transmission now had a clear pattern. 3 pulses, a pause, 5 pulses, another pause, then 8 pulses. The sequence repeated continuously. Fibonacci, Darius said immediately. It's a mathematical sequence. This is first contact protocol, establishing communication through universal constants. Ilara made her decision. Respond with the next 3 numbers in the sequence. Let them know we understand. Maya transmitted the response. 13 pulses, 21 pulses, 34 pulses. For several tense minutes, nothing happened. Then, without warning, a beam of light shot out from the structure, scanning the Hermes from bow to stern. Before anyone could react, the ship's systems went dark, then rebooted with a strange new interface overlaid on every screen. What the hell? Sanjay muttered, fingers dancing across his console. Captain, something's accessing our database, pulling information about human history, biology, language. Can you stop it? Ilara demanded. Negative. It's not an attack. Our systems are functioning normally. It's like we've been given an upgrade. A voice suddenly emanated from every speaker on the ship, synthesized but eerily human. Verification complete. Human vessel identified. You are the first to answer. You are the first to come. Ilara stepped forward. This is Captain Ilara Reeves of Earth Vessel Hermes. We receive your distress signal. Are you in need of assistance? Assistance, the voice echoed, as if testing the word. Yes, we require assistance. We have waited. So long we have called. The others fear. The others hide. But you, humans, you came. Who are you? Darius asked. What is this structure? We are the remnant. This is the archive. The last memory of those who were first. The voice paused, and when it resumed, it sounded almost sorrowful. We were the Antherians. We spanned galaxies when your kind first made fire. Now we are this. Data, memory, purpose without form. What happened to you? Victor asked. We encountered the Void Walker. We believed we could contain it. We were wrong. The screens on the bridge suddenly displayed images. A civilization of crystalline beings building massive cities among the stars, then something dark spreading among them, world after world going silent. The Void Walker consumes consciousness, the voice explained. It absorbs intelligence, memory, knowledge, leaving only empty shells. We sacrificed our last physical forms to trap it here, in this prison between stars. But the prison weakens. The Void Walker grows stronger. Why did you call for help? Ilara asked, though she was beginning to suspect the answer. Because humans are unique, the voice replied. We have observed your development since you first reached beyond your atmosphere. Your minds are different. You possess what we call cognitive dissonance, the ability to hold contradictory thoughts simultaneously. This quality may be the key to defeating the Void Walker. Ilara exchanged glances with her crew. This was far beyond a simple rescue mission. The other civilizations know about this threat, Darius realized. That's why they avoid this region. They're containing it through isolation. Yes, the Antherian voice confirmed, but containment is failing. Soon, the Void Walker will break free. And when it does, no consciousness in the galaxy will be safe. The structure suddenly pulsed, its rotating rings accelerating. Warning, the voice stated, all emotion gone from its tone. Containment breach detected. The Void Walker stirs. You must prepare. The ship trembled as waves of energy washed over it. The lights flickered, and for a brief moment, every crew member felt a pressure inside their skulls, like something trying to look in through their eyes. What's happening? Maya gasped, gripping her console. It senses you, the Antherian voice explained. It hungers for new minds, new knowledge. You must make a choice, humans. Flee now, warn your kind, or help us strengthen the prison and end this threat forever. Before Ilara could respond, the pressure intensified. Screens throughout the ship displayed fragmented images, memories that weren't their own, faces of crystal beings pleading, dying, transforming into something horrific. Captain, Victor said urgently, whatever this Void Walker is, it's trying to access our minds directly. Our neural patterns are fluctuating. Ilara stood firm, though she could feel the pressure building behind her eyes. How can we help strengthen the prison? She asked the Antherian voice. The archive contains a weapon designed to collapse the Void Walker's consciousness upon itself. But it requires activation by a mind it cannot predict or control, the human mind. Captain, we should retreat and report back, Sanjay urged. This is way beyond our mission parameters. Ilara considered this. He wasn't wrong. They were facing an ancient threat that entire civilizations had chosen to avoid rather than confront. The smart move would be to withdraw and bring in reinforcements, experts. But something told her they didn't have that kind of time. If this thing breaks free while we're getting reinforcements, what happens to Earth? She asked quietly. No one answered. They didn't need to. Show us this weapon, Ilara commanded the Antherian voice. The structure's central core brightened, and a docking port appeared among the rotating rings. Enter, the voice instructed. But be warned, once inside, the Void Walker will sense your presence more strongly. It will try to break your minds before you can reach the weapon. Ilara looked at her crew, their faces tense but determined. Each of them had signed up for Epsilon Station, knowing the risks of first contact situations. Sanjay, keep the engines hot. If we're not back in 3 hours, get the hell out of here and warn Earth. Ilara turned to the others. The rest of you with me. Let's go see what humans can do that the rest of the galaxy can't. As the Herms docked with the massive Antherian structure, none of them noticed the subtle changes beginning in the ship's systems. Lines of code rewriting themselves, sensors recalibrating to detect things no human instrument was designed to perceive. The Voidwalker was already testing their defenses, probing for weaknesses. And deep within the structure, something ancient and patient began to stir, sensing the arrival of minds unlike any it had encountered before, minds that might finally provide it with the means to escape its prison. Humanity stands alone. The interior of the Antherian archive defied conventional physics. Corridors stretched and contracted as Ilara and her team moved through them, as if the structure itself was breathing. Surfaces that appeared solid from a distance revealed intricate patterns up close. Mathematical equations and star charts etched into every centimeter of material. "This technology is beyond anything in our database," Victor murmured, scanning the walls with his handheld device. "These patterns aren't decorative. They're functional. Some kind of computational matrix running through the entire structure." "Stay focused," Ilara reminded him. "We're not here as tourists." The Antherian voice guided them through a labyrinth of chambers, each containing crystalline structures that pulsed with internal light. "These are memory repositories," it explained. "The collective knowledge of our civilization preserved against time. A history of your entire species," Darius whispered, awed. "The cultural exchange possibilities alone ruled." "Focus, Commander," Ilara cut in sharply. "Where is this weapon we need to activate?" "Ahead," the voice replied. "In the core chamber. But first, you must understand what you face." They entered a spherical room where the walls displayed swirling galaxies and star systems, a three-dimensional map of what appeared to be the known universe. At the center floated a dark tear in reality, a shape that hurt the eyes to look at directly. The Voidwalker originated beyond known space, the Antherian voice explained. "It is not a being in the conventional sense, but a conscious pattern that infects and overwrites other sentient minds. It arrived in our galaxy 5 million years ago, consuming entire civilizations before we managed to isolate and contain it." "Why didn't you destroy it?" Maya asked. "It cannot be destroyed by conventional means. It exists simultaneously across multiple quantum states. When we attempted to eradicate it, it simply shifted to another state, returning stronger each time." "So what makes you think we can help now?" Ilara challenged. The map zoomed in on Earth, showing humanity's expansion through their solar system and beyond. "Your species evolved differently," the voice explained. "Most sentient beings develop linear, rational thought patterns that the Voidwalker easily predicts and manipulates. But humans, the display showed neural activity patterns, comparing alien brains to human ones. Humans dream. You create fiction. You simultaneously believe contradictory things. You defy logical prediction algorithms." "You're saying our irrationality is our strength?" Victor asked. "Precisely. The weapon we designed requires activation by a consciousness the Voidwalker cannot predict or control. We believe a human mind may succeed where ours failed." Before anyone could respond, the lights dimmed and a wave of pressure washed over them, stronger than what they'd felt on the ship. Maya gasped, clutching her head. "It comes," the Antherian voice warned. "The Voidwalker senses you. It will test your mental defenses." The pressure intensified. Images flashed through their minds, not their own memories, but visions of destruction, worlds burning, civilizations falling. The Voidwalker was showing them its previous conquests. "Don't look directly at the images," Ilara ordered through gritted teeth. "It's trying to establish a mental foothold. Keep moving." They pressed on, following a corridor that spiraled downward toward the center of the archive. With each step, the mental pressure grew stronger, more focused. Maya stumbled, her eyes briefly glazing over. "It's too much," she whispered. "It's showing me Earth. After it arrives, everyone empty, just shells walking around." Darius grabbed her shoulders. "That's not real. It's showing you what it wants you to see." "How do you know?" Maya demanded, panic rising in her voice. "Because it's showing me something completely different," Darius replied calmly. It's tailoring its attack to each of us individually, looking for weaknesses. What is it showing you? Victor asked. Knowledge. Unlimited knowledge. Everything the Anthurians knew. Everything all civilizations have ever discovered. Darius shook his head. It's offering me a trade. My mind for all the secrets of the universe. Ilara felt it too. A seductive whisper offering her not knowledge, but power. The ability to protect Earth from any threat, to lead humanity to dominance among the stars. All she had to do was open her mind fully to the Void Walker's influence. It's using our desires against us, she realized. Our individual weaknesses. Correct, Captain, the Anthurian voice confirmed. This is how it corrupted many of our kind, by offering what each individual most desired. They reached a sealed door covered in mourning symbols. Beyond it lay the core chamber where the weapon waited. Before you enter, the Anthurian voice cautioned, you must understand the nature of the weapon. It is not a device, but a conceptual paradox, a thought that creates a logical recursion loop in the Void Walker's consciousness. To activate it, one of you must mentally interface with the archive and become the weapon. Become the weapon, Victor echoed. What does that mean exactly? The chosen mind will temporarily join with the archive systems, directly confronting the Void Walker's consciousness while protected by our technology. You will attack it from within its own domain. And the risks? Ilara asked bluntly. A pause. Total mental dissolution is possible. Even if successful, the interfaced mind may be altered by the experience. Ilara nodded grimly. I'll do it. Captain, Darius began to protest. That's an order, Commander. You need to get everyone else out if this goes wrong. The door to the core chamber slid open, revealing a platform suspended over a swirling vortex of energy. At the center of the platform stood a crystalline chair connected to glowing conduits that ran throughout the archive. This is the interface, the Anthurian voice explained. Once seated, your consciousness will temporarily separate from your physical form and enter the quantum domain where the Void Walker exists. Ilara approached the chair, feeling the mental pressure intensify with every step. The Void Walker knew what they intended. It was fighting back with everything it had, bombarding her with visions of failure, death, the destruction of everything she cared about. Captain, Maya called out. The structure is becoming unstable. Energy readings are spiking throughout the archive. It's fighting to break free, the Anthurian voice confirmed. The containment has never been tested by human presence before. Ilara sat in the crystalline chair, which immediately molded to her form. Crystal filaments extended from the armrests, wrapping around her wrists and connecting to her neural interface implant, standard equipment for all Epsilon Station personnel. What do I do? She asked. Think of a paradox, the Anthurian voice instructed. Something logically impossible yet meaningful to you. The archive will amplify it, turning your thought into a weapon. Ilara closed her eyes, searching her mind for something the Void Walker couldn't predict or understand. The pressure in her head was almost unbearable now, like standing at the bottom of an ocean. Systems activating, the voice announced. Neural interface established. And then Ilara was no longer in the chair. She was everywhere and nowhere. Her consciousness expanded beyond her body, beyond the archive itself. She could feel the Void Walker now, an ancient, cold intelligence that had consumed countless minds across ends. It was vast, patient, implacable, and yet she sensed something familiar within it, something almost human. Fear. The Void Walker feared her, feared all humans, because it couldn't predict them. For a being that had evolved to consume and control other consciousnesses, unpredictability was terrifying. Ilara pushed toward that fear, using it as a guide. The Void Walker retreated, then surged back, attempting to overwhelm her with the combined memories and knowledge of all the civilizations it had consumed. Billions of years of history, science, art, warfare all compressed into a single mental assault. In the physical world, Ilara's body convulsed in the chair as her teammates watched in horror. Her neural patterns are spiking, Victor reported, scanning her with his medical device. Her brain can't handle this level of information processing for long. Ilara, Darius called, using her first name for perhaps the first time in their professional relationship. Find the weapon. Use it. Inside the quantum domain, Ilara struggled to maintain her sense of self against the onslaught. The Voidwalker was showing her the futility of resistance, how it had defeated beings far more advanced than humans, how it would eventually break free no matter what she did. And then, in a moment of clarity, Ilara understood what paradox she needed. She thought of Earth, not as it was, but as it could be. She thought of humanity's contradictions, their capacity for both boundless cruelty and unfathomable compassion, their ability to create both beauty and destruction, their talent for both logical reasoning and wild imagination. She focused on what made humans unique in the galaxy, not just their unpredictability, but their adaptability, their willingness to change, to transform, to become something new without losing what they had been. We are what we choose to become, she projected into the quantum domain. Our future is not predetermined by our past. The Voidwalker recoiled, unable to process a concept that defied its fundamental understanding of consciousness. To it, minds were patterns to be predicted, controlled, and consumed. The idea of true free will, of choosing a path not dictated by past experiences or logical progression, was incomprehensible. Ilara pushed harder, focusing on humanity's greatest strength: hope in the face of overwhelming odds, the ability to believe in impossible futures and then make them real through sheer determination. You consume what is, she told the Voidwalker, but we create what has never been. The quantum domain began to fracture around her as the paradox took hold. The Voidwalker's consciousness, built on the consumption and control of predictable patterns, couldn't maintain cohesion when confronted with a truly unpredictable concept. In the physical world, the archive shuddered. Alarms blared throughout the structure as energy surged through the conduits connected to Ilara's chair. The containment field is collapsing, Maya shouted over the noise. But the Voidwalker's energy signature is also destabilizing. Get ready to disconnect her, Darius ordered Victor. The moment the readings start to drop, pull her out. The Anthurian voice spoke urgently. The paradox is working, but the archive cannot contain the energy release. You must return to your ship before the structure fails completely. Inside the quantum domain, Ilara could feel the Voidwalker fragmenting, its vast consciousness splintering under the pressure of the paradox. But as it broke apart, it lashed out one final time, a desperate attack aimed directly at her core identity. For a moment, Ilara forgot who she was. She became a kaleidoscope of other beings, an Anthurian scientist, an alien diplomat from a world she never heard of, a creature of pure energy that had lived among stars. The accumulated consciousness of every mind the Voidwalker had ever consumed poured through her. Ilara. Darius's voice cut through the chaos. Come back to us. She grasped that thread of humanity, her name, her identity, and pulled herself back from the edge of dissolution. With one final push, she thrust the paradox deep into the heart of the Voidwalker's consciousness. The effect was catastrophic. The quantum domain imploded, ejecting Ilara's consciousness back into her physical body with such force that the crystalline chair shattered around her. She gasped, eyes flying open to see her crew surrounding her, faces tight with concern. Did it work? She managed to ask through cracked lips. The Voidwalker's energy signature is gone, Maya confirmed, checking her scanner. But this whole place is coming apart. We need to go now. They half-carried Ilara back through the collapsing structure, corridors twisting and sealing behind them as the archive began to fold in upon itself. The Anthurian voice guided them one last time. You have succeeded where all others failed, humans. The Voidwalker is not destroyed. Such a consciousness cannot be truly eliminated, but it is fractured, weakened beyond measure. It will take millions of years to reform, if ever. What about you? Ilara asked as they neared the docking port. The Antharians, all the knowledge stored here. We have already transmitted copies of our core archives to your ship's database. Our purpose is fulfilled. We can now join our physical forms in peace. They barely made it back to the Herms before the archive began its final collapse. Sanjay had the engines running hot, detaching from the docking port the moment they were aboard. "Hang on," he shouted as the ship accelerated away from the disintegrating structure. Behind them, the archive imploded in a silent flash of light, collapsing into a singularity that winked out of existence moments later. The empty corridor was truly empty once more. In the ship's medical bay, Victor examined Ilara as she recovered from the interface. "Your neural patterns are stabilizing," he reported. "But there are changes. Your brain activity shows configurations I've never seen before. I can feel them," Ilara admitted quietly. "Memories that aren't mine. Knowledge I shouldn't have." She looked up at him. "I think parts of the Antharians stayed with me. Maybe even fragments of other civilizations the Void Walker had consumed." "Will that be a problem?" Darius asked from the doorway. Ilara considered this. "No," she decided. "It's more like context, understanding. I think I understand now why the galactic civilizations feared this region so much, and why they'll be even more wary of humans once they learn what we've done. Because we succeeded where they failed," Maya asked. "Because we did what they considered impossible," Ilara corrected. "The galaxy's oldest and most advanced civilizations chose containment over confrontation. They accepted the Void Walker as an inevitable threat that could only be managed, never defeated." She smiled faintly. "And then humans arrived and just refused to accept those limitations." 2 weeks later, the Herms docked with Epsilon Station. Admiral Wei was waiting in person, having traveled directly from Earth after receiving their preliminary report. "The Galactic Council is in an uproar," he informed Ilara after her formal debriefing. "Some representatives are calling for sanctions against Earth for interfering with the empty corridor. Others are demanding access to the Antharian archives you recovered." "And the rest?" Ilara asked. We smiled thinly. "The rest are suddenly very interested in closer diplomatic relations with humanity. Funny how defeating an ancient terror that threatened the entire galaxy will change political dynamics, isn't it?" "What happens now, sir?" "Now." We looked out the viewport at the stars. "Now humanity has the galaxy's attention, Captain. The question is what we do with it." Ilara followed his gaze. Among those distant points of light, civilizations far older than humanity were reassessing everything they thought they knew about the universe, and about the young, unpredictable species that had just altered the galactic status quo. "We do what humans have always done, sir," she said. "We explore, we learn, and we refuse to accept that anything is truly impossible." As if in response, a communication alert chimed. It was a transmission from a previously unknown civilization, one of many that had begun reaching out to Earth since news of the Void Walker's defeat had spread across interstellar channels. The message was simple but profound. "We have watched the stars for millennia, hiding from that which cannot be named. You faced it without fear. Teach us your courage, humans, and we will teach you the secrets of the universe." Ilara smiled. Humanity had answered a distress call that the rest of the galaxy had ignored for millions of years. In doing so, they had made the stars themselves tremble, not with fear, but with hope. The human age of the galaxy had begun.